Okay, welcome everyone to this roadmap session, right, for AI engineer. And that basically this session is about what you should do, how you can become, like wherever you are in your career, right, how you can go towards the path of AI engineering. I will not only speak about AI engineering, I will also speak about product manager and AI data scientist and those things as well parallelly. But mainly my focus will be on the Gen AI roles. So what all major Gen AI roles are there in the market, depending upon your skills, what you should target. Because what I've seen that a lot of and again, please, I'm going to say a few things which might uh, you might not agree with, or you might take on your ego, but please keep your egos aside in the session, right? My main objective is to understand, to give you a whole picture that what you have done in your career, accordingly take the path. For example, if someone has not done coding, I'm not going to give him this fake plan that okay, you can become a developer in just like 5 6 months. That's practically not possible, right? So we are going to gauge and try to gauge where you are. And but yeah, there is path for everyone. It's not that you cannot enter it, but we need to understand that where are you existing right now. So first of all, I have just small three questions which just a poll on Slido. So just I'll share the screen and just scan through your phone and try to basically answer. Let's see what major people are here. Okay. So what you have to do is simply you can scan the code, or you can just put it here. The link I have shared in the chat box, you can open that link and I will start the quiz. So I'm giving you like 20 seconds. Please open the link, register your name, whatever, and I'll start the. It's just a 3 question poll. I just want to understand. Yeah, I have started the recording. It has started. Okay, so shall I begin the poll? Okay, let's begin it now. So I'm going to start with the first question, right? And please, you will see on your screens. Take your time and please vote for it. So the first question you would be seeing now, please start voting. And can you guys see the question? Can you guys vote? Because I do not see any answer right now.
Possible, can you make it a MCQ?
Sorry?
Possible, can you make it as an MSQ? It's like 27.
I'm not getting your question.
Like really, like it's 1 out of 4, right? You have to select.
You have to select one option.
Yeah, instead of that, can you make it one or more than one?
No, just your whatever your best is, click on that option. You don't need to select all the options. Have you guys voted? Okay, I don't see any vote right now. Okay, yeah, I have got it. So what I see is that why most people want to learn AI is that most people want to build powerful AI apps and they want to stand out 50%. And I want to lead AI strategy. And okay, I get it. Now moving to the next question. Okay. And I'm starting it. Please start voting. Okay, I'm giving you 5 seconds more, then I'll close it. Okay, I'm closing the poll now. So I see that 33% people are very confident in building applications. Okay, few people are they edit existing code. Few people avoid. Okay, I get it. And very few people they get anxious. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Then I will come to this. And I'm starting the interaction. Please do that. Okay, I'm stopping it now. Okay, so you have voted for all the questions, right? Now let me tell you again. I'm not someone. I don't know each of you personally, right? So I'm not saying that. I'm just giving a recommendation based on whatever you have marked here, right? For example, these questions just tested that where you are right now. For example, this particular, for example, third question, I really wanted to understand that what your work looks like daily. Do you actually code, build? Are you really a developer right now? Okay, that is a separate thing. Are you someone who is aligned more towards, for example, learning things? Okay, let's say I want to understand how this application is built. Now can I build more application like this? Is your work more or you like strategizing the product, that okay, this should be the architecture of the product and I want to focus on that particular side? Okay, and trust me, these are two different things. Developing something is different, and being an architect or being a product manager is something different, which we will be focusing on, which we'll discuss upon. Okay, if you are someone who just explore AI tools and who is just aware of the knowledge, basically that okay, these many few things have come in the market, right? So you are basically again, I'm telling you, your job right now does not involve much in AI development or AI field. It's more about exploring tools, right, where you can tell people, okay, these things are there in the market, and you are yet to start your journey towards AI engineering. That's what I will say. Okay, and fourth thing is more about like being a leader. But now let's say I come here about coding. I see that only 33% people say that they actually build full applications, right? Again, what you are today is not a true representation of what you will be 6 months down the line. But I'm just recommending that based on wherever you are, how you should plan, because see, everyone has a different roadmap. Two people cannot have same roadmap always. So you really need to understand, first of all, that where are you existing? Either you are existing, you are a developer right now, or you are someone who is good at building strategies, understanding concepts, and let's say you go project to project, you understand the architecture, you improve it, and you move forward to the next project, something like that. Okay, which type of field are you? So we'll come to this now. Let me tell you this. In the whole AI, so first of all, let me tell you why I'm telling this. Over last 1.5 years, I have given multiple interviews in US related to AI engineering, be it startups, be it incomes, be it your regular MNCs, right? And I keep on giving interviews just to understand that what is the job market, what type of questions they ask, what do they expect from, for example, an AI engineer. And trust me, things. So I have a very fair idea that on what type of questions they ask, on what type of roles, and what are the decision points on which they accept or reject you. They might ask you 10 questions, you might answer 10 perfectly, but you might still not get selected, right? So you need to understand that at what level you are standing, like which type of person you are, because then only because it's not just about entering a field, it's about entering, surviving, and like becoming best, at least beating your peers, for example, right? Or at least be par with them. Okay. So now there are basically four type of roles you will find one in AI fields as of today. One is AI product manager. Okay. Product manager, as I mentioned, is someone who will be allocated to different projects which are going in a company, and his role is mainly to see end to end that, first of all, how product architecture is being built. Second, who is handling all work, strategy. From strategy point of view, he will bring his inputs, and basically he has to oversee all the developers work and different type of people who are there in the team. So this person, first of all, might not be might not know everything about AI, whatever is in the market. So for example, let's say he does not know about what is MCP, what is LangChain, what is LangGraph. But what he knows is that, okay, what type of product I have to build, right? And he has fair idea about that. So one type of role is this. One type of role is AI engineer or prompt engineer, which I think everyone want to become. I don't know why, but this is a developer work. So here, okay, you need to have very solid knowledge of AI, no doubt about that. Plus, you need to have a very strong development experience. And I'll speak about it. Having a good AI knowledge does not mean you are a good developer. Okay, so we'll come to this. Then there are another role, that is AI infrastructure engineer. So basically, when you build some applications, let's say what you did, you just created a simple chatbot on your laptop. That is just the 10% or 15% of the work. The remaining, although like from coding perspective or strategy perspective, your code might be correct working, but is that application scalable? Can you take that application, put out there in market, people start paying subscription to you, it will never come down, right? So can your application go towards that? So this is kind of AI infrastructure engineer, which is kind of DevOps role in AI, right? With so basically LLM ops, DevOps, like those kind of roles people come here. Next person comes data scientist or research scientist in AI ML. Their work is totally different. What this person does is, this person basically builds application. This person creates frameworks, strategizes that what type of strategy should you use, what type of framework should you use, which one will be better, right? So he's more of a research type of person. So these are four different type of fields. They require four different type of skill sets, which we'll be discussing, right? And depending upon your interest, you can take that particular thing. Okay. And now there are multiple things. When I speak about this, for example, for this roadmap, there will be a section of coding where we'll need to see how good coding you do. Second is your architecture knowledge of present system, ML system, Gen AI systems, and all those things. Then comes your product knowledge, that, for example, how many product architectures you have seen. Okay. Next come very important, that is system design from software development point of view. And then there comes your DevOps part, basically. I'll say DevOps and miscellaneous part, which we'll be discussing. Okay, so this is just an overview what we are going to discuss in the session, and then we will parallelly create basically roadmap for everyone, what are topics you should cover, from where you can refer to this, and any particular question that you have. Okay, so anyone, any question before I move there? Anything which I missed, which I'm not going to cover, please let me know. I'll cover that as well.
Here, AI infrastructure means it's completely DevOps role.
Sorry?
AI infrastructure engineer.
Yeah, it's completely DevOps role. It has less to do with AI. It is mostly DevOps role.
Okay. So system design is also part of the DevOps, or
system design is software engineering, which I will speak about.
okay.
System design is not basically system designing and infrastructure engineering are different.
No, I'm asking it. I'm not good at coding. I'm somewhere good at DevOps. Okay, so can I make it as a infrastructure only?
Yeah, if you're good at DevOps part, you should target infrastructure type, not here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Please, guys, put your questions. If I missed anything, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Please think, put it in chat box, and I will start the session then, and I'll gradually take your questions. Okay. Recordings will be provided. How does AI projects look like? Is it internal or for clients? I didn't get your question. Can you please reframe it? Can we get the recording? You will get analytics part means. See, this is not a machine learning. We are not going to do prediction analytics here. This is, I'm going to specifically talk about AI engineering. Okay. So this does not involve prediction analytics.
How AI projects life cycle works? Like I have heard about RAG and then like different projects. So is it that do we work in the companies that are the projects, or is it mixed with the web development? Like you have a website and in that you have to add a customer support chatbot or something like that. So how does that these AI application works? Is it working with the software development and like everything regarding that?
Okay, sure. I'll cover that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thing, guys? Please put
Yeah,
in chat.
one more question from me.
Please put in chat box. I will forget. Right. You can ask as well, but put in chat box as well.
Sure. So, so AI and DevOps means how we can integrate the DevOps with the AI. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Coding means, do we use only? I'm going to talk about Python only, but there are other things as well. This particular for being an AI engineer, Python coding is more than enough, because basically you'll be handling the backend part. I'm not going to talk much about front-end design because that has nothing to do with AI. Front-end designing is designing it. That designing can be same for any field, be it the regular software engineering, be it AI. That does not change. Okay. Okay, so guys, please feel free to put your questions there. So let us start with first of all, let us see how does an AI product life cycle looks like. That what all things are there when you create an AI product, right? AI software. Okay, so what all things are there, and what an entire life cycle looks like. Okay, from there we will be able to understand that what all roles are there, what things become more important. Okay, so first of all, let's go towards that. So what I will do here, I'll create AI product lifecycle. So first, can you tell me what do you mean by an AI product? What do we mean by AI product? Like software chatbots existed earlier as well. So what do I mean by AI product? It's not that chatbots have come recently. Chatbots were there in 2010 as well, right?
Yeah.
The product will interact with the AI.
What is AI here?
AI product is like a product which kind of has some intelligence, maybe based on the previous data or new learning, which kind of input it is given to.
Tell me, the products that we used to build earlier, 10 years back, didn't they have intelligence?
They were not intelligent. They were kind of rule based, like it is like question to answer kind of a way. So the chatbot example,
They were also intelligent. They also had machine learning models working in the backend, and they were also intelligent.
So okay, if you specifically talk about initial days of AI, they were also intelligent, not that smart as now, because the data has been grown very long, and the infrastructure supporting it is also very good, because of which there's a lot of advancement which has come. And most probably, if you talk last half a decade or so, because of GPT, NLP, which has grown massively with LLMs and all, that has given a very good edge.
Right. So basically, yeah, you're right. I would say the main thing is that what you see nowadays when we speak about AI projects, right? It automatically means, and it is not necessary, but it automatically means it involves some kind of LLM in the backend. Okay, we are using LLM's intelligence, and we're trying to build an application based on that. It's not that projects which are not using LLM are not AI. They are. But when we specifically talk about this, these all are LLM projects. Like deep learning projects can also be AI projects, right? They also, intelligence is basically making a good prediction, right? LLM, what LLM does is it also gives you a prediction only. So now let's come to the roadmap of this. For example, let's say you're building, and I'm just going to walk you through that. How does how any product basically looks like when you build anything, right? So first of all things comes here. For any product, it will come its POC design. Okay, what is the meaning of POC?
Proof of concept.
Okay, so POC means proof of concept. For example, let us say you are building any chatbot only, or let's say any kind of RAG chatbot, for example, you're building, right? Now it is just talking to one. You're just checking, okay, if I can I build intelligence over a document? Yes. This is just a POC, just testing that, okay, whether which framework will be better, what kind of outputs will I be getting, right? So those kind of things you do in the POC. This is the initial phase of any AI product. Okay, in any company, the first few weeks, first few months, wherever you will work on a new project, it will be based on POCs. In companies, entire teams are like for example, in my company there is a team called emerging technology. What they do is they basically build new POCs, and they share their results with us. Okay, and I work in the product design team. There we have to take those POCs, see can we actually build full scale products from that. Okay, so this is the first part you will see in any team. If you get in a POC design team, it is very good, because there, even if you do not know complete software engineering, you are fine. Here your objective is just to see, okay, can I build an agent like this which can do this thing? Can I build an MCP server which can do this? Can I combine agent RAG, something like this, which can build me something, right? So this is a POC design team. Okay, if you get in there, it's very good, but it is or most of the projects which start these days, they start with a POC. Okay,
So it's a small toy kind of project, no? To before building.
Yes, it's a small toy kind of project that you build just to test the feasibility. That
Okay,
okay,
and where? Okay, and where, like from where they get the requirement, like from the project manager or the stakeholders, like.
They get required from project managers, stakeholders, clients, right? That okay, we are planning to build something. So for example, let us say this is our practice website, right? I'm adding a chatbot here, so where you can basically, if you've seen, this is a practice website. Here you can practice SQL questions for free. But what I'm trying to do right now is I'm also working on building parallel chatbots that, for example, let's say this is the question, and here in AI Hub, you can ask it that, okay, I'm not able to solve this question. It will help you. Now, I will not directly put anything in this product. I will first of all test with few of the questions in the backend that, okay, is it returning me answer for few of the questions? If yes, then I will take it to full scale development. Okay. So in similarly, let's say this is a main website. I am trying to add different features. So I do not go and start building a feature from day one for complete website. First of all, I do a POC. Okay, you will hear this word very common. That is why I mentioned it. That is the POC. So, and let me tell you, in companies, if 100 projects are being done, 100 POCs are being done, out of 100, only 10 to 12, 10 to 15 are actually going to production. Okay, production means real with the products which are live for customers. Okay, so companies try a lot of things these days, that okay, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. Once they try, then they decide whether it is scalable or not, or different parameters on which they judge. And after making those decisions, only they decide whether they want to take into production. Okay, so after this POC design, there is a technical review of the of POC to decide whether to take into production or scrap it. Okay, now this technical review is basically done. So for this POC design which I mentioned, right, who all do this? This POC design basically can be done by anyone. For example, if you are it can be done by just it can be done by an AI engineer. Okay, of course AI engineer will be required. It can be done by a data scientist as well. Okay. And for example, normal software developer can also build this. Okay, but you need to have some development experience to not much, but basic. Like even if you don't have enough of coding experience, enough of development experience, that is still fine in these kind of teams, because here you are, what your job is to check what all things are available online, what all I can try. So basically, you are in the research mode right here. So here, even if you're not a very good coder, you can still survive. But to get into these teams, of course, you will have to crack interviews, which I will talk in some time, right? So what type of questions you will have to answer. But yeah, so this is the first step. Now for technical review teams which are there, that who analyze this, so who are they? They are basically product managers. So here comes AI product manager, for example. Okay, AI product managers. And then you will see infrastructure engineers. Then you will see architects there. Okay, so you will build a POC, and maybe you will say senior software developers. Okay, you will say senior AI or software developers. Okay, so these kind of roles are handled by these people. This technical review is basically handled by those people. They evaluate on various parameters, and then they basically decide whether we have to do it or not. Okay, any question, anyone so far?
What's the role of infrastructure engineers in technical reviews?
Infrastructure. So basically, once let's say what I did, I created a chatbot. Okay, I say that okay, I am making 5 API calls for building one question. Infrastructure developer will engineer will tell, okay, for just one question you are making 5 API calls. Now if we scale it, if we take it to cloud, right, this much cost will be there, this latency can happen, right? So those suggestions, that when I actually put it into the development, what all issues will arrive, what will be the latency of the project, and all those things. So they are handled by infrastructure engineers.
Those responsibilities will be covered by an architect only, right? Solution architect.
See, they actually, let me tell you, a lot of things overlap as well. So that's why I'm mentioning that in few teams, architects might not be present. So those infrastructure, like architect might not have complete knowledge of infrastructure. An architect might be simple software architect who just knows, okay, what all things need to be aligned, right? Their infrastructure engineer can help you a little bit more. So I would say they collaborate on those things. Okay, they alone, no one takes a decision. So there are different people. They have reviews them internally. Maybe first of all, developers will review, then architects will review, then combined infrastructure engineer will review, and then they will give the final approval. So something like that will happen. Good, everyone? Okay, now after this, once let's say they decide we have to go, so then your product comes into 3 categories, 3 environments. So one is called a development environment. Okay, one is called a testing environment. You might be knowing all this, I'm not sure. It's called testing environment, and one is called a production environment. Okay. Production environment. So can someone tell me what are these?
Basically, development once the reviews are to be done.
So this basically, these are, I would say, yeah, product cycle. Okay. Not cycle, I would say stages, I would say. So what is a development environment? Development is that, for example, let us say you have decided that my particular thing, whatever I did, there are 100 steps. Okay, let's say there are 100 features in my product. Now, will all 100 features will become live from day one?
No.
No, right? So what you will do, you will, let's say you decided that there are 100 features that I need to build from this. Okay. Now what will happen? First of all, your development. So this is also called E1, E2, E3. This is called E1. I'm telling these terms because you will hear them very commonly in companies. E1, E2, E3. Okay. So when a product is in E1, it means a developer maybe is building all this. Okay, it might not be it is not live. For example, this website is live to people, but I have another website where for example, let me show you. I have another website where I'm working on creating projects on data science website. This particular is not live. You guys don't have access to this. This is because this is in development environment. I try to build it, I test it, and once it is completely done, then I will make it live, right? So this is called E1, right? So
What does E stands here?
environment. E means environment. Environment 1, environment 2, environment 3. Environment 1 means development, 2 means testing, 3 means production. That's the standard template in companies. Okay. Now, once let's say you build. So let's say what happened, you build 50 features. Okay. First of, let's say in first month you build 50 features. Now, will they directly go into testing? Will they directly go into production? No. They will. All these features will be moved to a
testing team. They will find the bugs and
right? So
like pass it to the development again.
So 50 will be passed to testing team, right? Out of those 50, let's say 25 might be passed to production, and 25 might come back to development team, right? So this is to and fro will keep on happening. Now, who does this kind of work? So here, for example, that you see, so this kind of work, AI engineer, data scientist will not be involved here. Here you will see pure developers. So first is either AI engineer will do this, or a proper software developer will do this. Okay, only these two people will be doing the development work. So and remember, you need to be very pro on this. Your expertise at this level versus expertise at this level will be very different, because here you'll be building something for entire company. Here you might not know what is API, but here you will have to know what is API, what is Docker, what is Kubernetes. Those things you will have to know. Okay, so this is something here you will be working it alongside these two people. Then from here, testing team will be working. So a lot of testers you will see on which are working, right? So testers will be working on these particular things. Okay, and once your product is into production, there it is handled by your software developers. So basically they are handled by your software developers. Then they are handled by your infrastructure engineers. Okay, mainly these two people. So if we see this, the role of AI engineer is heavily here in development environment. It is heavily in the POC design. AI engineer has less say in a production environment or in a testing environment, right? Of course, if it goes down, he might help, but his major role that once everything is passed, testing is completed, things are into production. In production, you have to see that if an application is used, let's say it goes down, some bug, like something comes, so you have to sort it. So it's less of an AI engineering, it's more of a software development or infrastructure management, right? So these two works are handled by AI engineers. Data scientists mainly come here. Okay, they might come here as well in technical reviews also, they can come, but they will not come anywhere here. Okay. What do you mean by AI engineering tools? Can you tell me? This is not a, just let me tell you that this is not a class, right? I'm just here to tell you what all roles are there, how should you prepare, those things I'm going to cover. So this is not a project workshop. Okay. For project workshop, I keep on conducting. You can check, right? This is more of a roadmap session, just to guide you what type of roles are there and how you should prepare. Okay. So this is there, and so this is POC design, technical review, even into A3, and that's it. So all this is managed by, you would have heard agile framework, right? HDLC, you would have heard that you run sprints for every 2 weeks, you do the work and you push, like these kind of things are there. Okay, this is how your product cycle looks like. Any question, anyone?
मुझे practically, like theoretically I understand, but like I want to understand from a code perspective. Let's say like I am writing a code like on my local, I'm pushing it with git init, git add, and then git push from my local to where? that I don't know in companies. So what after that? Like that code will be like how it will be going to the testing, that the separate branch of the code, or the production is a separate branch. What is that? How does it look like? I mean, in practical, like in the code perspective, I'm asking.
So from code perspective, how it happens that what you will do, for example, so let us say this is my project, which I built a project here. What I will do here, I have just pushed it to a Git branch. So let me show you how it looks like. So for example, this is GitHub. Okay, so this is by default. If you see right now, there is only one branch, and this is, you can say this is development branch. So I can right now, because I am just doing for my personal work, so I didn't name it. So right now I will have pushed it to, this will be called a development branch. Now if after this, if one has to basically, let's say 5 people are working and everyone is working on different parts in a development environment, then everyone will push to this branch and they will raise a PR, which is called pull request, when you have to merge codes. Again, that is a part of GitHub. But what will happen, it will have 3 branches. One branch will be for E1, one branch will be for E2, one branch will be for E3. And so for example, let's say this branch is E1. Everyone can push code here, because this will not affect the live product. But when I have a product in E2 branch, sorry, E3 branch, not everyone can push their code.
Okay, so it means developers will work on the main branch collaboratively with their respective features.
Not main branch, every branch is main branch. It's just that its name will be E1, basically environment 1, development environment. Main branch is E3, where your main product is lying in. Development.
I did not get this part. How come every branch will be main branch? There can't be any sub branch.
Main, I didn't say word main. I mean, all 3 branches are important. What I mean to say is that when you say that change, so think like this: your product is live. Okay, which branch will affect the product?
Production branch.
Production branch, right? So production branch is a branch where you want to have the maximum security, where people cannot randomly push their code.
Yes, true.
Even E2 are those branches where people can push their code, and any one person can review, and basically so what happens that so let us say there are 3 developers: developer 1, developer 2, developer 3. All are working on E1. So let's say this is your E1 environment. Now what will happen? This developer will also push his code to E1. This will also push to E1. This will also push to E1. This particular code review, any senior developer can do. For example, let's say any senior developer can review the changes and he can approve that, okay, whatever changes you have pushed, it is good, we are okay to move ahead. Now come to E2. So whatever changes have been done will be moved to E2, right? E2, there will be no code push change from developer, because first of all, code will come from E1. Only when senior has approved, then it will automatically move to E2. And now comes E3. Whenever you are pushing some change to E3, now only senior developer cannot approve it. There will be senior developer, there will be product manager, there will be all different leads of the product. So there will be multiple leads of the project who will approve this. Without their approval, your product cannot go into E3. So as a developer, most of the time you play in E1 environment, and you push to E2. When your changes are done, for example, everyone has approved that, okay, things are good, then you will push the code from here automatically to E3 branch. That's how it will work.
So these are nothing but, the the different branches of the GitHub, right? No, I mean even E2, E3, like development and testing, and then production kind of branches.
Yes, yes, these are different branches. So every branch will hit a different website link. For example, this is one of the website link, right? This is just very common for me. So the link that will be hit here will be different. So this is link 1. Here you will hit the link 2. Here you will hit the link 3. So this link 3 is very important to you because you don't want to mess around with it. Okay. But these 2 links, you can push anything there. That's how it is. Anyone, any question on this? Now remember, all this is done through CI/CD pipeline, GitHub Actions, or Jenkins pipeline. How it is done, that is a separate part. I just told you how work is done in a company. You 95% of the time will work on even branch only. And once you're done, then approvals will go through. That's how it works.
And those who approve, they will pull the request and merge the code, no? And then after that, it will
They put the request, they'll review it, and then they will either approve or reject.
Okay, got it.
Anyone, any question? So this is what we discuss about the life cycle of a basically AI product that it happens, right? Now let's move towards how should we study about it. Okay, we discussed about various roles. Now I think you guys would have understood what type of role fits in, like where do you fit in. You have to now evaluate that. As I told, this particular thing is entire coding, this particular thing is entire coding. Here, if you are let's say if you're a product manager, your role comes in here in technical review. That okay, like these 2 teams will have constant. It's not like that you have built the POC and after that technical review will happen. What happens generally that every week you will have, let's say, scrum calls, right? You have those things every morning or every alternate morning. You will work on something, you will show your team product managers or different people that okay, we did this. Then they will have a discussion with you, they'll brainstorm, and then you will decide it is good or not. And then it's like continuous loop which keeps on going on. Okay, so they work in parallel. So as a product manager, your role is not to see how does a function, what does a function, like how to write a function. Your objective is to whether this particular tool or this particular API call is giving me the outputs that I wanted, right? Those particular things are your knowledge. So here having a technical knowledge is very important, but coding knowledge is not required. Okay, so please now, so that's when I say that when you choose a role for yourself, see whether you're a developer or you want to go into, because a lot of people just because they hear the word AI engineer, they think it's very fancy. No, it's not very fancy. It's eventually just coding work only. So a very fancy role which you could think would be like somewhere here, where you will be reviewing multiple projects, and you might not have a coding knowledge. You might not be a good coder, but you might be a very good, I would say, product manager who can come up with great ideas, great system design ideas, or great strategies which you can pull in here. Okay, so this is about the life cycle. Anyone, any question? Please let me know. So based on this, can you put in chat box what you think is a viable role for where you think you will fill? Just honestly, I mean, be honest and just put in chat box where you think, based on your current level, based on whatever your coding skills are, whatever your AI skills are, whatever things, where you think you will most likely fit in. Can you put in chat box? And don't be ashamed. Every role is same. Every role have similar pay scale as well. So don't worry about that. Yeah, please, can others also put in that where you think you can be based on your current skills, you would like, which team would you like to join in? Would you like to become a POC designer? Will you like to win technical review, and or will you like to be somewhere here? Okay, Does okay, I get it. Does anyone of you have software engineering experience here? Anyone who is a software engineer? Okay, one person. Okay, two. There are few software engineers. Okay, it's fine. So see, now let's come into the build. Now let's start building the roadmap first of all. Okay. Now, whatever I'm going to say you, please, I'm going to tell you from interview perspective, because your first role is to crack interviews. Work you will do, you can do anything. You get in the company, you can take help, you can use Google, you can use ChatGPT, and somehow you will be able to manage work. But to get into the work, get into that role, that is the major thing, right? Getting selected is the major thing. So first, let's talk about this particular AI engineer roles, right? Then I'll talk about product managers as well. So if I talk about AI engineer roles, now let me tell you, AI engineer is a subdivision of software engineering. Okay, it is which I've told many times. AI engineering has less to do with machine learning. So if you think that before starting AI engineering, I will learn machine learning properly, I will learn deep learning properly. No, that is not the right way. That would have been the right way 1 year back, but right now it is not. Right now, AI engineering is pure about software engineering, how good software you can build, how you can integrate different skills, different things. So it is the right time that you need to start focusing on the software development part. So for example, if you have limited time, you can either devote to machine learning or you can either devote to software. I would recommend study software first rather than studying machine learning. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, the first part that comes into interviews is coding. Okay, and that is for sure. This is Python DSA coding, which everyone asks, and it is non-negotiable, I would say. And okay, after this, your architecture knowledge also comes. That your software knowledge, I would say, how good software knowledge you have. Then comes your system design knowledge that you have. Okay, then it comes your I would say frameworks. So by architecture knowledge, I mean everything like RAG, agents, whatever you mentioned, everything will come here. Okay, frameworks. In frameworks, you will see different frameworks, cloud, everything will come here. Okay, and then comes your DevOps part. That how much DevOps do you know? Now remember, you do not need, as an AI engineer, you do not need to be a perfect DevOps person, but there is some percentage of DevOps which you will need to learn, which you should have if you really want to excel. Now I'll come to DSA coding later. First of all, let's try to understand what all topics are there which you need to know as an AI engineer in 2025, right? Then we will study about frameworks, then we will come to system design, and then we will do the coding part. So what do you think? What all topics are there in the AI space, Gen AI space as of today?
Agentic AI,
Okay.
RAG-based implementations, chatbots.
Different AI frameworks.
Frameworks will come in framework. I'm not talking about framework right now.
Like generative AI mixed with transformer mixed with computer visions and all, and PDF readers, and like projects are very different, but mostly RAG and agent and computer vision.
Right, and then you will have in this, you will have let's say you will have fine tuning as well, right? And anyways, I'll come to that. So I have this whole thing ready. I just want to walk you through the whole what all things you need to now remember. This month 1, month 2, 3, you don't need to follow this because everyone's learning pace is different. So I'm not going much into that, but how you should basically go about learning things. Okay, from an so I have two Excel. First Excel is this, and another Excel I have where I have the interview questions which are asked for major interview questions, what I have faced for various roles. I have listed them into prompt engineering, system design, deployment, deep learning, LangChain, frameworks, MCP, A2A. Like these are the questions which are majorly asked today. So I will give you this Excel as well, which you can have. But let's first of all understand what all things are there, how you need to study, and what all topics you need to study today. Okay, so the first thing is, of course, knowing. Now remember, as I mentioned, you do not need to become masters in NLP for GenAI, but if you know it, it will be very good. So your whole GenAI starts with NLP actually. Okay, now in NLP, you might not be doing tokenization every time, but you might need it depending upon how complex a project is. Okay, so in NLP part, you see this tokenization, stemming, stop words, this chunking, NER, tagging, semantic analysis, this contain word vectors, TF-IDF. These all are must topics, I would say, that you have to do. Yeah, I will share the Excel, don't worry. Okay. This Excel is from my course only, so I will just delete the other files. I will just share month 1, month 2, month 3, and projects which I have listed. Okay. So
Without using LLM, we can build the pure NLP based query chatbot, no?
this is pure NLP based thing, chatbots or anything, any kind of semantic analysis you need to do, word vectors. First of all, you need to understand this. It is very important in understanding. Now remember, you do not have to keep on waiting for this forever. You can do it parallelly. Okay, so GenAI might not have started till now, but knowing all this is very important, because you will be talking to people, you'll be doing simple, you will have code, you'll have different use cases, right? And if you understand NLP, you will be able to crack things better, I would say. Okay, so this is the NLP techniques which are there. Okay, now I'm only mentioning topics, right? I will give you some resources as well if you want, but I'm just giving you these topics which you should have. Okay.
I had a small concern actually. These things that you are sharing, NLP techniques, like from the very beginning, like I remember I have read about them, lemmatization, stemming, etc. But over the course of time now, the precision to know about their details and all, they just vanish. So does it happen to everyone also? Like how to tackle it?
You're not the only person to whom it. So let me tell you, these things you will use very less in GenAI projects in general. Okay. But point is to understand things, right? That how does LLM work? It's, you can say it is not a must, but it is good to have thing. Okay. Now, if you're not a machine learning engineer, if you forget these things, you don't need to worry about that. You can anytime pick it up. But for example, let us say I give you a project where I'm giving you a lot of documents. Okay, you have to parse it, lot of text data, you have to parse it, and you have to do something on it. If you know this token, even in this thing, I would say this is not much important, this is not that important, I would say if you have to choose from this, learn about TF-IDF, learn about word. If you can know these two things and learn about n-gram matching, okay, and embeddings by default. Okay, if you can learn these 4 things, they'll be very helpful in GenAI, because in RAG we do keyword search, we do like BM25, we do vector search, right? How they are actually working, these things will help you. Otherwise, what will happen, I will tell you, okay, do a hybrid search. You should know why a hybrid search, why not a text search, why not a semantic search. Okay, so if you have these concepts, I'm not saying you become masters, but you should know what is the difference between word vectors and TF-IDF. If you just know the basic difference, it is good enough. I'm not asking you to spend hours on this, because even if you spend hours, you will forget down the line. Okay, but knowing major differences will help you moving ahead. Okay.
Okay, because the thing is, like after studying it, after just some time, how exactly they are working, I may not remember. Maybe in a essence or some details I remember. So, like how to do, like, do I have to study it every time, every day, or in every week?
Every time, take them. Let's say you study once, and you know something like this was there. Whenever a new project comes, you can come and refer back. No one can remember everything. And
yeah, but by referring, I can't see all those videos again, like, and spend that time
to watch the video, right? You can maybe keep a note somewhere. You can keep the topic name. No one is asking you to go and watch a 50-hour course again and again. I'm just telling you that, okay, if you know word vectors and TF-IDF and you have a document analysis, ask yourself, I have to build a chatbot over it, or I have to analyze this particular document. Which kind of extraction would be better? Would it be text-based or would it be semantic? So if you know what is semantic, then it's good, more than enough. You now next, your job is to build that pipeline rather than coming back.
Okay. Nice. Good. Because often the thing happens is ki I want to do a project and then I get stuck again in learning about one thing which I
No, so you
forgot.
don't have to do that. So let me tell you, if you have to ideally start building, let's say I am creating a plan for this. First month, let's say you're spending on this. Don't spend more than 7 to 10 days on all this. And that too only when you're studying 2 hours a day. Okay. That's not more than, this does not deserve more than like more than 1 week or 1.5 week. If you spend time on this, you will eventually missing on the good things. Okay. So max 7 to 10 days you have to give to this. Whatever you can retain, good. What you cannot retain, forget it, move it. Whenever things will come, we will do reverse engineering rather than we actually spend. A lot of people do this. They think that, okay, first of all, I will master NLP in 3 months, right? In 3 months, you can master GenAI. So you don't need to like waste time on all this. Okay. So just knowing basic is good enough. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Don't take any big NLP course by any instructor that, okay, I'm talking about GenAI roles. Okay. So don't fall in those traps. Next comes transformer architecture. This also follows this thing. Now, transformer architecture is a little bit complex to understand, but for building GenAI applications, this is not required. Not required in the sense that not mandatory. If you know, it is very good. If you know how this positional encoding, these things are working, very fine. But eventually, you are just making a GPT call, or you're making any LLM call through an API. So you will not be playing around with these things. Okay, you might do some fine tuning, but there also you don't need all this. These things are good from interview perspective. That in interview, people might ask, okay, tell me how does a transformer work? Tell me what are KQV values, right? How does a decoder versus encoder work, right? So these things are good for theoretical knowledge. You don't need to do any specific project, and just knowing how things work, you can give time. You can maybe spend 1 to 2 hours every week on this and keep on building, because this is something it will take. If you study back to back for 2 weeks and you don't study at all for next 4 months, you will forget. So it's good that you spend 1 to 2 hours per week and you just study one topic every week, or maybe 2 topics every week, so that over the time you start building things. Okay. Is it clear? So here different concepts are there, attention mechanism and all those things which are there, but you can study from wherever source. Again, if you were a machine learning engineer, this would have been your major. This should have been your major thing. But now for a GenAI developer, AI developer, it is not required. Okay. So again, I have seen a lot of people wasting time on transformer architecture and all those things. You don't need to. Okay. I'm not saying that it is not important. I'm just saying it is not important from a AI developer perspective. Okay. Clear, everyone? Any doubt?
So for building projects, there are different strategies, and for the interview standpoint,
yes,
like we should have to focus on these specific
these
topics.
are important for interviews.
Okay.
These are not important for building applications. In the sense, because in applications, these things are already done. You are just using them. So that's why you don't need to. But in interviews, people ask this. Like recently, someone asked me in an interview that how does KQV value work? How does matrix multiplication work in the backend? Okay, so I didn't remember practical experience, but I knew theoretically how it is done, and I was able to answer that. So that's what you need to keep in mind. And this knowledge will be built over time. So give yourself that, okay, I will build this whole knowledge in maybe 3 months, not in, right? And every week I'll give 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours, and I'll spend on this. Okay, everyone, any doubt?
Good to go.
If anyone has any question, please put in chat box. Okay, now next we will move to the next things. Now here you will start your LLMs and all that you will start. So yeah, I will share the document after class, don't worry. So understanding LLMs. Now this is the start of your GenAI part. knowing these things theoretically is very important. For example, what is parameter efficient PFT techniques, LoRa, these are very, very important from interview perspective. People ask this a lot. Okay. And for example, what is pre-training, fine-tuning, and all those things are important, because what will happen when you'll be doing POCs, at times teams will discuss, shall we fine-tune a model, shall we use distillation, shall we use some other thing, right? So there, if you know these things, it will really help you. So you need to have some hands-on experience on these things, especially on LoRa, CLoRa, PFT techniques, I would say. Okay, so these things you can spend good time on, I would say. 2 weeks are more than enough, but you can study on this. Okay, and next comes your prompt engineering techniques. Now there are a lot of prompt engineering techniques which you can create, but the core principle remains same. You can create 200 prompt engineering techniques as well, but the main thing is this chain of thought prompting, which is the major thing. Then is few shot prompting, I would say. Okay, this react prompting, which is there, this tree of thought prompting, and rest all you can just read them what they are. Okay, a context injection you can study, but it is nothing, not like a very complex thing. So these 4 to 5 things are very, very important, I would say, to understand how you can construct good prompts. They are good. It's a very good knowledge that you should have, right? In company there are proper prompt engineer roles, so you should be having this. So this also, I think 2 weeks are more than enough for this. Not on, like, you'll learn everything. It's not very complicated. Okay, so this should be your initial plan. This is just the setting up things. We have not started AI engineering yet. We have just learned prompt engineering. We have learned basics of LLM, what is fine tuning and all those things. And this all for my interview perspective, right? So all this comes mainly in interview. Some of this will be used in development. In month 2, I'm moving to development part. Okay. Any question, anyone here so far?
So for this, minimum knowledge is Python, am I right?
See, for this you don't need Python. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
For this, Python is not required. Prompt engineering, nothing. Prompt engineering, just how good prompts you write, right? Giving examples, getting outputs, those things are there. So Python is not required. Python, basic Python is good enough here. Okay. For this, Python is not required for theoretical knowledge. For this also, for theoretical knowledge, Python is not required.
Oh, great.
So all the understanding part you can do without Python as well. Okay. Now let's move to month 2. Now here comes your major. Now here we will start the development work, right? So first of all, I would say that so RAG and basically LangChain. So because LangChain is the major framework, I would say, right? So that is something you would need to study. So first of all, you would study how to create a very basic chatbot by talking to LLM, right? So that should be your first project that you should do. That how to create a how shall I connect to how can I take an API call, make an API call to LLM, get its result, and those kind of things I can do. Okay, so that is the first part. After that, you can start with RAG. Now RAG has basically 3 levels: advanced, medium, and introduction. But I have clubbed them into 2 actually. Okay, yeah, sorry, 3. First is basic RAG, where you have just doing introduction. That is what is RAG, architecture of RAG, basically that chunking, embedding, retrieval, and all those things. Okay. Now this is very, very famous interview question. People ask in almost every interview, create what should be a good end-to-end RAG pipeline. Now, if you just speak that, okay, I will take the document, chunk it, embed it, and get the result, that is not the right answer. Okay. There's proper RAG optimization techniques are present, which you should study. I mentioned them here. Okay. Then embedding, knowing different vector databases. 2 types of retrieval are there: dense and sparse retrievals. Then similarity metrics, tokenization, and chunking strategies, and different things are there. You can read from here. So this is just the basics of RAG. These all topics are basics of RAG. After that, you will move towards advanced part. Okay. Now, if you know, RAG has 3 basically pipelines. If for a RAG pipeline, there are 3 things. One is pre-retrieval, one is during retrieval, and one is propose. So this is pre-retrieval, this is retrieval, and this is post-retrieval. So all three type of scenarios have different optimization techniques and different type of advanced things which are present. So for example, hybrid retrieval is there, metadata filtering, chunking, multi-document. This is very important. Conversational RAG is important. Okay, re-ranking is very important. Re-ranking comes here. Okay, and integration and external tools. Hierarchical RAG is also important at times. So you can read about these topics and check online, but I've just clubbed them into different categories. Then you'll come your RAG optimization, where you have further the enhanced part, evaluation metrics, that how do you evaluate whether your RAG is, like for example in machine learning we do accuracy, precision, recall. How do we do in RAG based projects? Okay, so those things are there. Latency optimizations, very important from interview perspective. I would say caching strategies are very important, and relevance score is important, feedback loops are important, like all these things are important. But if you study all this, let me tell you, if you study all these topics one by one from whichever source, I'm not recommending any course, I'm not saying join my course or that course, you can do anything, but make sure you have learned all these topics, okay, from wherever you can. You can simply learn through a Google page as well, you can take a video, depending upon how much time you have. But if you can learn all this, you'll be 50% ready for jobs real time. Because in companies, let me tell you, agents, although they're very good, but still companies have not entirely adapted to agents, because agents have if you know that agents do not always give you the same result, right? So that is the problem. Companies are moving towards it, but still not yet. But RAG is entirely present in every company. Every company has multiple projects on RAG. So if you are someone who can yeah, most of the current use cases you will see in company are RAG. In my company also, like I teach different things, RAG, agents, MCP, and all those things. 70% of things in my company, in my previous company also, was based on RAG only. Okay, and even at times simple RAG, not even like complex RAG. If you think that no, even if you don't know all this, even if you know this much, you will be good to understand the projects and start doing things. Because in companies, they don't want to do over engineering. Now there is a problem with a lot of people that when we study a lot of things, it becomes our ego that, okay, I have learned so much and I should put everything. No, you have learned, that is good, but you have to build a product. You have to make things simple, right? Over engineering always causes problem. That if you start thinking, no, I'll do this, I'll make a very good fancy pipeline. It might look good on picture, but it might not look good when you have to actually do things.
Okay. Satvik, who takes the call of which one to adopt? Say, for example, in the
this is decided by your man. So as an engineer, you will recommend them. Okay, but decision is taken by architects and managers only. As an engineer, you see, I'm not going to explain agentic AI and MCP. This is not the class for that. I will cover MCP. I'm covering MCP next week. You can join then. Okay. I don't want to diverge from the main topic of the session. Okay. Yeah, most of the companies are still in the initial phase of adoption of GenAI. So even if if you can build good RAG applications, okay, you are good to go. You can actually start working in the companies. I'm not saying in every company, but you will be very good to go. In interviews, people might ask agents, so that thing you might need to see, but real work mostly happens on RAG as of now. Okay. So for example, in my company, I'm working on a project, Copilot. There, what it happens that what we are doing, that whatever team meetings happen, automatically they get stored on our cloud. I have to build a system that every day a person comes in morning, he just types that, okay, what is my work for today? And that chatbot should tell you based on your previous meetings that, okay, these are the tasks for today, and you should do this, you should follow up with this person, that those particular things. Now this is done by using RAG, and of course it's an advanced RAG, but there's no agent involved there, no major big MCP and all those things are there. A simple RAG project it is. Okay. Similarly, like different kind of projects are also there. But yeah.
What is the retrieval here in these Teams chats?
So your all video recordings are stored in cloud. So from video you have to extract audio files. You have to extract their whatever chat templates are, whatever conversation history is there, then you do a RAG over that. Okay.
Okay.
So that is
So
there.
data extraction part is also can be done by the data engineer can help there. I mean, this extraction.
Here, data engineering is not helping, but they can do. Okay. So this is RAG part, which I told you. Now comes the LangChain part. Now remember, there are a lot of frameworks you will find online, but I'll come to them as well. But what LangChain provides, no one provides. Okay. So LangChain is something everyone should know. Apart from that, for agent and all that, you can adapt to different frameworks. That is fine. But LangChain provide a lot of good things. For example, if I have to tell you in this, for example, tools, tool calling. This is very, very important. Messages history. Okay. Memory management, streaming support, document loaders, and your embedding models. And I would say prompt output part. This is very, very important. Output parsers, async programming. This is like very, 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 very important. Tracing and structure output I told already. Context window is there. There's another thing called as prompt caching. Okay, that is also there. And injected tools is there. Tools artifact caching is there. Yeah, so these are like some of the major things which you can, and see, these all you don't need to do any. I mean, you can do courses, and I'm not stopping you, but everything is present in LangChain documentation as well. You can simply go to LangChain and you can read from there that what all these things do. For example, let's say I go here. I'll go to this LangChain. And here you'll see docs. In docs, you will have LangGraph, LangSmith, LangChain. You'll click on LangChain, and here you will have two things: how-to guides and conceptual guide. So conceptual guide will tell you all the concepts which are present in LangChain. So if you click on this, all these links which you are seeing, right? If you click on them, they will take you. For example, let us say I don't know what is, let's pick up one topic. Output parsers.
Documentation LangChain is not bit structured.
No, it is
Previous
structured.
version I also come.
It is structured. I find it very structured, to be honest. Let's say, so there are two things. One is how-to guides, how you will actually code it. One is conceptual guide. In conceptual guide, you will see concepts and different topics are listed. All the topics are listed here. Okay. And suppose I want to see, I mentioned about structured output. I'll click on this. It will take me to this page, structured output, where it will tell me what all concepts are there, how to define, how to run, and everything is given end to end. So like, even if you are not doing any course, even if you're someone who can simply read through this and understand, it's very good. Have your
So,
Python.
like, they have given good concepts, and with every concept, like every keyword, you click it and you get to know about the concept. But I
Yes.
was saying, like, chronologically, from this to this,
Oh,
from
yeah,
this to this.
chronologically it is not there. That I agree. That you need to know what you have to learn. They will like this. It does not come in this order. So like, you might need to know prompt templates before agents, right? Those kind of things. So that is something maybe you can take any course, see it. Like, for example, you can simply take this one and follow this particular order, or maybe you can take any course, check any course topics, and you can see how things are being taught there, and you can learn in that particular order. You can do from there. Okay. So, but yeah, you should know whatever topics I have marked here in red. They're very, very important. So LangChain is something everyone has to do. Does not matter. For agent, there are different frameworks. We can go with pick one depending upon our need. But LangChain is there, which is by default which you need to know. Okay. So this is about the month 2. I mentioned RAG and your LangChain. If you can master this thing, you are more than ready for any AI job right now in the market. Okay, you don't even need to know agents as of now to start a job. Of course, in interview they can ask, or future, I don't know what about 6 months later. But from work perspective, if you know all these topics, even if you know 60 to 70% of these topics, I am not saying every topic, even 60 to 70% of these topics, you are good to go. Okay. Any question, anyone? Okay, let's move to the advanced part of GenAI, okay, which I missed couple of things because now MCP and A2A are also there. Okay, so first thing is knowing knowledge graph. So again, I'm not telling you that why knowledge graph is required, why basic RAG has limitation, that is for separate, but knowledge graph is also very much important, but you won't see its practical implementation in companies yet everywhere. At very few places it is there. The reason, can someone tell me the reason for this? If anyone knows knowledge graph.
Like I'm assuming it's a bit complex because there are different nodes, how they are connecting logic, and generally the project that is being made are like linear, but the things here is
Not
I think
about
it's more complex.
complexity. It's not, I agree, complexity is there, but it's not about complexity. Thing is that these knowledge graphs, for example, Neo4j or anything, of course, when you think from an AI perspective, they will sound very fancy to you. People will post on LinkedIn, okay, I know this knowledge graph, that knowledge graph, blah, blah. And you might feel, okay, man, people are doing this, I don't know all this. But let me tell you, and knowledge graphs are used even less than 1% in the companies. The sole reason being, to convert anything into knowledge graph, you have to move your entire data to that particular database. So for example, Neo4j is a database. It's a knowledge graph, right? Okay. So what you have to do, for example, let's say your company's data is present in a SQL, NoSQL database. What you will have to do, you'll have to move all your information, all your databases, everything into Neo4j. Now to do that, it requires a lot of efforts, a lot of data engineering work and things. So companies think that rather than investing all those things, we can prepare a solution, we can optimize our existing solution rather than moving everything into data thing, right? So if you look from an
this thing I'm not able to understand. In like, can you dim down the like explanation that how the data is being converted from this format to this? So the earlier format that you are saying, is it a tabular format or a NoSQL sort of format? Or
example, you have a SQL table present, okay, in a PostgreSQL. So example, you have a SQL table present in Postgres. You have to build knowledge graph over it. Okay. Let's say this is your table, which has 3 columns, okay, and various rows. Now, what you have to do to convert this into a knowledge graph where there are different nodes and different relationships, and this from PostgreSQL, this type of structure cannot be present in PostgreSQL, right?
right.
So you have to move entire data in Neo4j first, and then you have to convert it into this.
Like, is it happening? Is it a manual effort or what?
Not manual effort. It will be an automatic, but you will need to have Neo4j subscription. You will have to do, you have to build data pipelines which can move data from your regular PostgreSQL to your knowledge Neo4j, right?
So it's efforts and cost as well. So
effort
that's
and cost, basically. Doing so, I'm not saying that this will give you a good solution, but the problem is that you cannot build solutions on your existing databases. You have to migrate things here. And from here, you can only use for GenAI applications. You cannot use for your other work. Or maybe you can use for some of the works, but not other work. So think like you're buying a service which is costly, which is giving good result, but you don't think like this. For example, you have a TV at house, right? Of regular, like I have a normal TV at my house. I don't buy a very expensive TV. I know that if I buy a very expensive TV, I will have a very good experience. But to do that, I'll have to spend money, right? And I don't want to do that. I will say, no, I can manage with my regular TV as well. It's fine. It's just like this. So knowledge Neo4j and all this, they're
Okay,
good.
okay. Maybe I can spend some time, like some amount. I can make, I can buy a Fire Stick and make my regular TV a smart TV, but I will not buy a smart TV.
Yeah,
Something
it's
like
like that. It's fine. I will manage with my current TV. I don't need a 85-inch TV. I'm good with my 55-inch TV as well, right? So I know it is good. For example, Mercedes is good, right? But not everyone buys it. What is the reason? You think that, okay, if I spend all that money in buying Mercedes, I can do a lot of things with that money rather than buying Mercedes, right? So that is the same thing here. Neo4j is good, but the problem is that you will have to shift your data information. Now, this is just a PostgreSQL. You will have different databases. You'll have to move all that information here and then use it. So it involves a lot of data engineering work. You will have to hire a proper data engineer, then a person who will manage that, right? You'll have to pay salary to them. And do you get a good return on investment from that? No one knows. So that's why companies say that, okay,
well, for the 0.01% or 0.1% that you told, who are the, like, what kind of business statement are using Neo4j or something like that?
if you're just doing a document parsing, then if you're, for example, you're analyzing a document and you have to understand the context from that, there you are using knowledge. There you can use knowledge graphs. But the point is that with the LLMs have become very good now. What LLMs were there 1 year back, now they have become very strong. So they are able to capture everything very well. You might not even need, like, RAG has improved. So earlier things were there that RAG was good, but it was not perfect. Knowledge graph used to give very good results. But with time, because LLMs have improved, embedding models have improved, so RAG has also improved. Okay, so just your document, we mainly use knowledge graph for document work, that you have a PDF parsing, you have a Word file, and you used to use through them. Now with RAG improving, that work is decreasing there. I'm not saying that it won't be there in future, but we'll see like what type of work actually comes in good. We'll have to see. For POCs you can use, but for production you will not see much of the applications in knowledge graphs. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Is it clear, guys? Anyone, any doubt?
So this graph, like, what is the benefit of this using this graph structure?
That is separate entity. That is not in the scope of this class. That how does it give better result, that I can teach in a separate session. Okay, but
Okay, but in essence, some fetching is better than the
fetching is better
like,
than a regular RAG. Yes.
okay.
So that, I mean, that I can explain in a separate session when I conduct, but if I go there, it will take a lot of time. So, but you can read about it. Knowledge graphs, they are no doubt better in understanding things, but they involve a cost. So whether your company is ready for it, that depends upon your company. Okay. Then comes cloud services. I'll come to LangGraph later, but whatever work you do, you can do on AWS as well. So now think like this: you work on locally. What you do that right now, what we do, we go to OpenAI, for example. A lot of you would be doing like this. You go to OpenAI, you get the API keys, right, and you use them in your project, right? This is what we do as of now. Like this project also, I created an OpenAI key and I was using it here. But that's not how things are done in companies. In companies either use a cloud. They might be using an AWS cloud, they might be using a GCP, they might be using Azure. Now, given that OpenAI has its integration with Microsoft, I'm not sure if you guys know, OpenAI has a collaboration with Microsoft where Microsoft holds a very good percentage of OpenAI. So all the OpenAI models are exclusively available on Azure cloud. You will not find them on other clouds. That is why Azure becomes very, very important. In most of the companies, GPT models are available through Microsoft. You cannot go and get API from there. Can someone tell me what could be the reason for that? Why I do not take API keys from here and I have to take from Azure cloud?
Price?
Price remains same.
Maybe owned by Azure, that's the reason.
security concern that you have to store that into the key vault something.
Okay. Anything else?
The product is owned by Azure, maybe.
The product is?
Major stakeholder is Azure, means okay, they have internal what we can say.
Yeah. So basically,
They'll use that, yeah.
yeah. So let me tell you how it is done. I will just show you just quickly right now. Okay. So what happens that suppose you have taken OpenAI key from here. Okay. Now you created a project. Your project has, let us say, right now only I am using this API key because it is in my personal laptop, in my local. What if 10 people start using it? What if 100 people start using? And what if, for example, same API key which I've used, that I'm using, 1%, 10%, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and 1 lakh.
You have to pay the cost for that API call.
It's not about cost. Cost you'll have to pay anyways, even if you have hosted on Azure. If 1,000 people are using, you'll have to pay money, so you will have to pay always. Same API key, if 10,000 people are using, what will happen? Traffic, right?
Load.
The biggest problem is
The rate limit.
yeah, the rate limiter, basically the distribution and all those things will happen. That's why do not use through, and also it does not provide entire security. What Microsoft does is that when you create anything in Microsoft Cloud, or maybe you can deploy models in Azure Cloud as well, you directly take from there. They provide entire security, entire load balancing, entire security, whatever things are available in the market, whatever are required for anyone to use it. Okay. So this is the first use. Second thing, what you do that you put in variables in .env variable here. Here you store things in key vaults, which you can use without basically passing your API keys. You can directly use in your projects. So that is also the second. That is still a less use case, I would say, because in GitHub also you can store secrets. But the main thing is that all the enterprise level load balancing, whatever things are there, everything Microsoft is handling. So you don't need to worry about that. And all the latest models will be available through Microsoft. You can directly use there through a single API, single endpoint. Everyone in the company can use it. Then in Microsoft also, you can remember I told you about creating a E1 environment, E2, E3. You can create 3 instances of an LLM and share with development team with now think like this. If same API this is E1, E2, E3, in which environment you will want your API to be fastest?
E3.
Production, right? So what you do, will you use same API keys for all these? No, you will have to deploy in 3 instances of your model, and one you'll create for E1, one you'll create for E2, one you'll create for E3. Okay, and you will ensure that less traffic is there, traffic handling is better there, and all those things which cloud automatically handles. So for example, let's say I created this demo resource. What will happen? I'll go here, and here you will see an option of creating things. So let's say you'll come to models, and here you can deploy a model. For example, I'll click on a deploy model, and I can choose any base model. For example, I'll say I want to deploy GPT-4o. Okay, I selected it, I confirm it, and I will, once I confirm, it will start deploying the model. And in a second, I will have that ready. And I will use that API key for my products. So that is why things are done through Azure or Microsoft, this AWS or GCP, whichever model. Like GCP provides you Gemini models, right? Azure, AWS provides you different kind of LLMs. So you can see which one is better there. So So what I'll do, I'll create a new project, create here.
I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Yes, if let's say I deploy in cloud, let's say the model I use, let's say GPT-4, so this is only belongs to my local cloud, right? Or let's say whether I train anything over my
What do you mean by local cloud?
local cloud means, let's say it won't be leaking out to the public, right?
So depends how you store its value, right? So for example, this is my model. Let's say, let me deploy a model.
Yeah.
Okay. I deployed a model here. Now this model will have its endpoint. It will have its key. I can store these things in my environment, and I can give to my developers, or I can put in the code wherever I want to do.
Oh, okay. So what I mean is, let's say what I want this model, like today we use ChatGPT. That means we use this model, then we just, let's say we upload certain things there, because when you something to train, then these things belongs to public. I think because you see.
I didn't get your question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't get. Can you repeat your question?
Okay. Let's say today example. Let's say we using ChatGPT. Let's say we upload our information up, attachment on the rack. Then we use the ChatGPT, the model, to perform certain tasks. So this is something like, because this is the model, it belongs to, it's up the cloud there, belongs to, it's public. So we just pay the subscription. So let's say in this case, if there's a risk there, I upload certain things that is privacy, then it will be leaked, because it's actually there
will be no leak here. Whatever endpoints you created, just make sure you're not sharing those endpoints with random people. That's it. This is just API, right?
Okay. That means this one, when then I deploy the model, so this is something under my enterprise level. So
yeah, it is at your enterprise level. This is what I'm showing. It is how things are done inside companies.
Okay. That means only restrict to, it can be used by my enterprise level. That means outsider cannot be accessed using to share my.
If you don't share, you will not. How will you?
Okay. That means I have the option to select whether can share, not share.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And from here, you can manage as well that I want this API key to be available only to my team. Like you have those options. Like I want to give access to only these people. I want to give access to this particular team name. Something like that. Those things you can do. So even if someone gets an API, but he does not have access to it, he will not be able to. For example, I put a file on Google Drive. Unless I've given you read access, you cannot see it, right? Even if you have the link. So it's like that. That's how it works.
Okay, got it. Okay, thanks.
So this is what I wanted to tell. Now, I'm not going into cloud in detail. That main thing is that AWS provides this service called Bedrock. Azure provides this Azure AI Foundry. And GCP also has Vertex AI, which you need to study. Now, you need to see basically how models are deployed there and how will you use in those particular things. Now, for Azure is if you have to learn one cloud, I will recommend learn Azure, because that is mostly used, because GPT models are available in Azure only. And here you will see this prompt flow. Here, without coding, you can build entire applications. I'm not showing right now, but you can build entire applications. I'm not sure if you saw my N8N workshop. This is kind of N8N as well. By doing some coding, you can create workflows as well. Without coding, you can create workflows and you can deploy those projects. Okay. Otherwise, you can simply use their Python coding as well, and you can do regular thing as well. So that is something to learn from an enterprise level. You need to know at least one cloud. I would say I will recommend Azure first of all, then you can go with AWS or GCP up to your interest. Okay. Now this is we covered. Now come to fine tuning. Fine tuning is basically, as I mentioned, you need to know PFT, you need to know LoRa, and data prevention, data leaking is something you need to know. Okay. So these are things there. Frameworks I will cover in a while. And after this comes your LLM ops. Now in LLM ops, see, again, I mentioned you don't need to become an infrastructure engineer, but what you should be knowing is creating fast APIs. Okay, that is very, very important, because all the code that you will create, you will not be sharing function. You will have to, if you think that, okay, I created a code, I put on stream.j, oh my God, I have built a very good thing. No, that is really nothing. You have to take your code, convert to fast API and give it to front-end developers. They will take those APIs and create front-end from them. So your job as a AI engineer is just to create those APIs, API endpoints. Okay, this is you need to do. Then you need to know Docker basics. How can you create a Docker image and a Docker file? So those things you need to know. Then GitHub Actions is something used very, very much for CI/CD. GitHub Actions. Or Jenkins is also used depending upon the project. So GitHub Actions or Jenkins. I will recommend learn both. Basic, that what all things are there. Kubernetes, even if you don't know completely, that is fine. Basic Kubernetes you can learn. But these three things are non-negotiable. Fast API, Docker, and GitHub Actions. These are must, I would say. Okay. And I have conducted session on GitHub Action. It is present on YouTube for free. You can check that as well. And Docker also is available for free in the YouTube. You can check that from there. Okay.
What's
Now,
the role of Docker here?
Docker here is that when you have to deploy your project, you have to put that in an image so that you can deploy on cloud. So how things work is you take your project, you convert to fast API and create a Docker image. That Docker image you deploy on cloud, and from cloud you actually deploy on an application. So that's why Docker image is very, very important.
Okay, so before Azure and then after the CI/CD, Docker will come.
Docker is a part of CI/CD.
Okay.
So Docker will come. You will first of all create or whatever code you have created. So let's say so whatever code you have created, you will take the code, then you will convert the code into a fast API. This is the first step. So these steps you should follow in this order only. After fast API, what you will do, you will create Docker file. After creating Docker file, you will write down your GitHub Actions. So this much you need to do. Once you have done this much, you are good to go. From there, your infrastructure engineer will take up. So you need to write down your whole code, fast API, Docker file, and then put to GitHub Actions, or maybe Jenkins, whichever you are using. So even if you don't know Kubernetes, it's fine. If you know, it is very good, but if you don't know, don't worry about that. That's totally fine. Those things your infrastructure engineers will handle. But these things are by default you should be knowing. Coding plus fast API plus Docker file plus GitHub Actions. So this is these things come in LLMs. And now again in different courses you will see people telling different things. I'm just telling what all things are minimum required. Okay, there's no end to learning. If you learn Kubernetes, now there are different CI/CD techniques. You can master them at short level. But this is the minimum that you should be knowing. Okay, and again you will not be rejected just because you don't know these things. But like if you don't know, you will have a hard time during work, because what you code here is entirely different from what you're going to do inside company. So you should have the ability to see all those things in advance. Okay, now after this, coming to the last part, we have MCP A2A, and then I will talk about frameworks. So MCP is Model Context Protocol. Recently, they're very good thing. It has a very good future, right? So what you can do, you can simply go to this Model Context Protocol website, and you can read it. How does it work? I'm conducting a free workshop on this next week as well. You can attend, and there's a Python SDK as well. You can click on it. You can read it line by line, understand how to create your servers, how to deploy them, and how MCP is better than tool calling. Right? What is the difference between MCP calling and tool calling? Those kind of things, right? That is there. And then you have to also study agent-to-agent protocol. Now, agent-to-agent protocol was launched in April only, and MCP was launched in March only. So they are not very old. Very few people know about it. So even if you learn it from now only, you will have a good advantage, I would say. A lot of people, they just know the word MCP, but they don't know how this protocol actually works in the backend. Okay, so if you can crack it up to that level, it will be a very good thing. So again, it's not easy. You will have to study the code in detail, because you will not find any good courses for this online, because no one knows it, right? People have created course where they have simply taken the code and they're showing, okay, you run this, you will get this, but they're not telling that why this code, what happens if I use this, happens if I use something else. So no one is telling those things. So you have to go and explore yourself. Okay, that I will tell you how to explore in next week. So this is there. Now comes the frameworks for creating AI agents. You will see tons of frameworks out there. How do you guys decide which one to take? Can you guys tell me what's your go-to? Like, I open LinkedIn, I see every day a new framework comes. Every day someone has posted, try this, try this, try this, right? How do I decide that what to learn? Because there is no end to this. What are your thoughts on this?
It's whatever.
Sorry?
Which can be used to solve the complex problems, which is
Everyone
useful.
can be used to solve complex problems. First of all,
Whatever resource company has for which we are doing, I think we can use that only. Personally, I don't know with what you want to pick.
So let me show you this LangGraph. Okay, this is one framework. There is semantic kernel. This is one framework by Microsoft. I'm talking about creating agents. Then you will see Crew AI. Okay, this is there. Another is there. What is its name?
AutoGen.
Yes.
N8 also framework.
AutoGen is there. LangGraph is there. Crew AI is there, and Google ADK. Google Agent Development Kit. This is also there, and you will find tons of, like, I might have missed there. So right now I only showed you Crew AI is there, semantic kernel is there, LangGraph is there, AutoGen is there, ADK is there. So how do you decide which one to do? Because if I just say that do all, I mean, you don't know which all frameworks will come by the end of year. How will you decide which framework to choose? So the thing is that, first of all, you need to understand that if you want to become a developer, right, you have to think that which particular, so there are two ways to think this. First of all, which framework is used in my company? Okay, that is the first thing. Second, which framework solves entire problem completely by hitting the, now for example, let us say I give you two frameworks, I give you two codes, that what you do, that simply, let's say if you have to create an agent, what you can simply do is come here and you just call this function, pass values, and agent will be created. One way is this, that I tell you that take this, just use this function, pass LLM tools, everything, and your agent will be created. Another method is, I tell you that you write down this big function inside. Okay, which method will you choose? Let's say this is some other method, this is not create, let's say this is some XYZ. Okay, so you will choose this method or you will choose this method.
How would we know? I mean, it depends on output, no? That what we want actually to achieve, and we are getting the desired output or not.
So in which method you will have more control over things?
Defining our own function.
Defining your own functions. Okay.
What I'm doing, yeah.
Thing is that, okay, this is created, this is very good. You can simply call a particular function and you can use it. Very good to go. For basic scenarios, it is good. But and every use case can be different. Okay. Now, if you use this, you will not be able to tweak things. Suppose you want to make this output parser mandatory. And if you use this, your output parser is not mandatory. Suppose tools are not sequence of list, it's something else. You can modify things from here. So this is called an abstraction level of things, right? If you're using an abstraction level of thing, they're good to go. I'm not saying they're not good. But if you really want to become a good engineer, you should know entire thing. You should not wait on, okay, give me this function, I'll run this function. If things were that easy, think like this. If this is the code that you just take a create React agent, pass 3 values to it, and agent is created. Why do I need to pay an AI engineer a higher salary? This to anyone can do, na? This any coder can do. Why do I need to pay you for this? So while coding, what you have to do, you don't have to cheat with yourself. Okay, I'm not saying that using this is entirely cheating, but you have to understand that how things are working here. And then you have to relate with your use case that, do I need all this or do I need to tweak this? If I need to tweak this, I will use this entire function rather than simply calling a function and passing values to it. Okay, so as in the first initial days of your career, I would say, let's say when you are into my initial 2-3 years, I will recommend don't use functions directly. That's my suggestion. Yeah, of course, if you have time constraint and if there is everything is same, you can use them, no doubt. But you have to become a good developer. If you have to actually crack things how they are working, then you will have to learn this. And the reason why I'm telling you is that today these frameworks are there. Tomorrow some other framework will appear. Okay. For example, I spoke about model context protocol. Now tell me this. This is Python SDK for this. I go here, I just see the code, I just copy this code, I run it. This anyone can do. What special are you doing? Why are you being called an AI engineer for that? If this code one has to use and just change the values, what is your job? This though I tell any non-technical person as well that, okay, I'll give you this code, just replace this with the actual value and run it. Good.
Tweak is something do.
Sorry?
At what time, what changes have to be done?
How every action is working in the backend. So what I spent to, trust me, I spent almost 1.5 months in understanding model. Then only I decide why I took a lot of time in creating session for MCP, because it took me almost 1.5 months to crack it by reading the. So what I did, let me tell you what I did. And the reason I'm telling you, you also need to start learning that is that in future, a lot of different frameworks will come. Tell me how many courses will you do? Today you will learn LangGraph. Let's say LangGraph gets obsolete 6 months later. Will you do another course on some other framework? This way, this AI field has just started, right? We don't know where we will be 2 months later. So what skills shall we build? Shall we build simply reading, simply taking a code, running it, and being clapping and feeling happy that, okay, I created an agent? No, that is not called development. What is development? Development is what? Let me tell you. You will take a code. Okay, for example, let's say I was reading this agent-to-agent protocol. Okay. Now, let me show you. I created a simple server. It showed me that, okay, this is how a simple server is created, for example. Okay. Or I said, okay, that is fine, but I want to go in deep that how it is working. So instead of using A2A client or message directly, okay, I will use it directly, no problem. If things are okay, I will use it directly, but I want to understand how they are working. So I'll click on that. I'll go read it that, okay, this is how it is working. This is, they're taking a URL, taking the headers, okay, and try to build that logic that if I had to build this function, would I have done it this way or not? Okay. And this requires time. This is not, no one will tell you to do this. No, a lot of time you'll simply encourage yourself that, okay, simply go run a function. If it is giving me result, why do I need to bother? You need to bother because this is not future. future will not look like this. Future may any framework can come in. Your objective is to go when your code does not run. For example, I am using this particular thing. Let's say it is not running. It is giving me an error. How should I go and fix it? Your job is not to build. Your job is to fix it as well, right? So unless you know what is the meaning of engineer, that you know ins and outs of it. If something is not working, you should know why it's not working, instead of just doing ChatGPT. And ChatGPT will not tell you answers because these latest information are not available there. Okay, so for example, I'll show you. I'll go to this samples Python, then I will click on agents. Suppose I want to see how LangGraph works. So I'll read this whole code. And okay, this is how a class is created. This is how a tool is created. Okay, and then it is passed here. Then it is passed here. Then it is passed here. And eventually, I might use up this thing only, this basic thing that they have created. But to know and crack it becomes very, very important. Okay, and I'm telling you from this experience that most of the time you will be debugging as well. And if you don't have those skills, you will miss out something. So if you have to become a good developer, this is something you need to learn. And it takes time. So I'm not scaring you. I'm just telling you that, first of all, choose a framework to which you can go to the base layer. Don't, for example, let's say 𝗁 Why I don't like it? Let me tell you. That what happens in 𝗁 you will come here, it will give you an option of documentation. Okay, you will come here, it will give you a quick start, and it will say, okay, take this code, run this code, and everything is there. Like from 𝗁 import, they have given this name agent, 𝗁, and all those things. But I don't know them, right? I mean, how they are working in the backend, it is not mentioned there. So I will either you go study how it is working, explore it, then it is fine. But the time that you spend on engineering this, in that time some other framework might come up. That is why I personally, if I have to recommend, I recommend LangGraph. It is most difficult to learn because things are not as simple as this here. Like here you are simply calling agent, 𝗁, process, task, right? Things are not simple in LangGraph. In LangGraph, if you'll go, let me show you docs of LangGraph. So things are very, so they have given basic overview that how to create a chatbot and all those things are there. But they have also given a conceptual overview that what is this, what is charts, what is LangGraph, how charts are created. For example, if I have to create a multi-agent, right? So there are different type of multi-agent framework, single network, supervisor to hierarchical, and this. And for everything, they have given me a code, and they've given me detailed code that how it is done. Okay, with explanation as well, which I can do. So that is what I like about LangGraph, because it solves an enterprise level solution rather than simply using frame like Google ADK. It is very, very simple to use. It's almost English only, that you simply do pip install this and you create an agent. For example, if I show you, you can simply create an agent very easily in their methods. But the problem is that okay, you will be able to create, but you will not be able to debug. If a different use case arrives, how will you solve those things? So that's why I recommend that when you start learning, okay, learn how to create a basic agent, but please go as much deep as you can. That will help you in learning. Okay, so that is there, and you should have built this ability that in future, if a new framework comes, for example, let's say this agent to agent protocol comes, you should be able to read the documentation, read the code, and understand how to run that particular thing. Because for every protocol, for every framework, you cannot do a course. Okay, so this skill building is very, very important. How do you take a new framework, and how quickly you understand and how quickly you can start using it? That is very, very important. Okay, any question, anyone?
How can we learn this skill of learning through the documentation?
It takes time. I'm telling you, it takes, first of all, you have to stop yourself from simply running the solutions. If a solution is there, ask yourself, okay, this function is there, what must be happening in the backend? Okay, so it comes from your internal curiosity, I would say. I'm not saying that do not use the function directly. You use it, but when you get the time, please start exploring its backend as well, so that tomorrow if someone asks you, you should be able to understand it, how things are working. It comes with time, don't worry. Even if you're starting today, if you're just starting development, simply use the functions. But 6 months from now, start deep diving as well. That's what earlier what I used to do. I also simply directly used to create functions directly, take the function directly. Problems arise when I started facing errors. I was not able to understand why this error is coming. And if you don't know the backend, you will not be able to crack it. So that is why I recommend at least some level of understanding is required. I'm not asking to mug up all the code line by line, but understand what is happening. At least understand the story, how that function is created. That is very, and trust me, it is very easier said than done. Most people don't do, 99% people don't do it. But if you
See,
have to become,
the problem which arises is not like sometimes in a less time we have to build a solution. So time falls short for learning these
I'm
concepts through documentation because
I'm not saying that do this always. Did I say that? I just said that let's say you start building something. Today you take for what could be your day one, come here, read the GitHub. Okay, this is the GitHub. This is how I have to build code. Okay, I'll take this code, run it. Okay, it is running. If first of all, master yourself on using these direct methods. Once you have mastered it, then don't stop there. Do engineering in the backend. That's what I'm saying. It's a like long process. You will not, if you start doing engineering from the first day and your manager is asking, deliver me the project, how will you deliver it then? So first learn. So my objective of saying this was that don't directly take functions and always assume that things will work. Those things that are important, try to deep dive in them. That's what I will recommend.
I don't understand. I mean, don't use functions, then what should I have to use?
I didn't say don't use functions. I said don't rely on using the
Functions.
function directly. I'm just saying that. Let's say this is saying that, for example,
Like you shown in the other class that what is happening in backend, like the class and objects.
yes. So you have
So
to
that
go explore.
procedural code behind that.
Yes. That you need to understand, I would say. If not from start, so at first understand how to use the main function. Once you have
Mhm.
understood that, then go and explore the backend. And trust me, if you don't explore the backend, you will not become a good developer. You will become someone who can take things, run it, that's fine. But if there is an error, you will always struggle. So
when we are learning about a repository or a code base, from where should we start? Like ideally, from where you start to in order to know the code story.
so let me tell you. So let's do this thing. Okay. I take this model context protocol, Python SDK. Okay. I'll do this copy. What I will do, I'll go to my, I'll open my VS Code. I'll open the terminal. Okay. I did this. Open desktop Python SDK. Okay. I opened this model context protocol. Now, first of all, what you have to read README always. Yeah, because you need to know what is that particular thing doing. Correct? So you will read this. Okay. This step is installing an MCP server. For this, you don't need to know backend. It's fine. You can say, okay, I can install. Now you'll see that, okay, this is a quick start where I am creating an MCP server, creating a tool, and I am allocating a resource. So let's say this is the quick start where I am having, for example, okay. So I downloaded this. Now how things are present in a project. This is your security files. You don't need to, your main things are present always in source code, SRC, right? You click on SRC and you will have CLI level, client level information, and you will have different codes here. Okay. So what will I do? Let me do this thing. I'll create a new file, test.py. I will take this code which is given me here. I'll copy this and I will paste here. Okay, I got this code. Now once I run it, the code will run. My server will start running. I have no problem. But what you can do is you can see, okay, they are saying mcp.server.fastmcp. It works like this. Now these are very standard thing. Even if you don't do reverse engineering on them, that is fine. But for example, you say fastmcp. What does this class do? I'm creating an object from this class by passing a name. Let's see what all this class do. I'll control on this, press control and click on this. It will take you to that class automatically where in the backend. So this is created here. Okay, you'll see that, okay, a fast MCP class is created. Now there is an init function here. And I do in initialize, it gives me a name which I'm passing. Okay, instructions which I can give. So you can understand that you can pass these things to this. And then you will read these settings, MCP server, tool manager. Okay, this is how this logic would be working. Okay, I understood it. Now main takeaway from this is that to my MCP, I can pass name, instructions, and see what all things are not optional. If you see, name is there, instructions. So along with name, I can also pass some instructions. So let's come to this particular thing. Where was my code? So name is equal to, I can give, right? Name is equal to MCP, and I can also pass instructions. How did I get to know all this? Earlier, I didn't know this. I simply went to the class and see, you don't have to worry about the logic always. You don't have to deep dive in this always. You simply have to see, okay, what all things it takes, what all things it returns. Can I play around with things? For example, name is a string, instruction is a string. Tools I can pass to this. So tool, it should always be a list. Now, for example, let's say what you do here, I have this test.py. I have to pass a tool value to it. And I say that, let's say search tool. Now, will it accept it? Let's say I say tools is equal to search tool. And it gives me an error. It is giving me an error. How will you get to know that this is correct or incorrect?
That class, maybe it's some docstring must
From
have
the
been there.
previous code.
So if you check in the code here, fast MCP, it was showing tools should be a list, right? So what I have to do, instead of passing name directly, I have to pass it in a list. Maybe that might work. Okay, and this search value I will define at the top, but maybe let's say I will define something here at the top and then I'll pass here. So these things you'll get to know there. So you do not need to worry about the logic every time. First thing what you can see, okay, what all values this takes, what all value it returns, so that you understand what is the use of this. Okay, this is something 90% of times, even if you do this much, you are good to go. In some of the scenarios, you might need to further deep dive. That's what I would say. Again, it will take me a lot of time to explain everything, but this is from where you can start. And then as the time comes, you see different codes. You can go, first of all, run and check if everything is working, then you can go and explore. How can I tweak few things? Will it change anything? It's kind of more of curiosity, I would say. Okay. So this is there, guys. So this is about frameworks. Frameworks will come and go. If you have to start one framework, I'll recommend LangGraph. Okay, do LangChain, do LangGraph. Apart from that, try to read the documentation of others. And because LangGraph takes time to understand, read the documentation of others and try to implement on your own. Don't watch any course, any tutorial video for that. Start building this habit of reading and developing on your own. That will be a very good thing for you. Okay. So this was about the roadmap, guys, that what all you have to do. I'll share this file with you. And I have also another file where I have put all the important questions that are asked in interviews, be it prompt engineering, be it system design. Now coming to the system.
All the resources that you have shared, like that you have shared in this session, please can you share all of them, like including that draw.io one?
Yeah, I'll share. Okay. And from system design point of view, for example, what you can do is you can come this. I'm just telling with the topics here. So this is a very good website from where you can learn system design articles that when you have to design an application for multiple people. Another one is there, algomaster.io. From here you can come system design, and they have given everything. For example, all the core concepts, scalability, availability, reliability, CAP theorem. For these, you don't need to learn coding, but knowing the concept is very, very important. So in one of the recent interviews, they gave me a case study. They told you have to design a ticket master where people will come, they'll select the event and book it, and you have to design that application for 1 million people. And it involves so many things at so many deep level, right, that you cannot even imagine. I mean, I cannot tell everything right now. So for example, they asked, will you use a SQL database or a NoSQL database for a problem? And this is a very important thing. For example, you're sitting in an interview, you're telling that, okay, I will take this information, store in a database. They will ask you, what type of database will you use? Will you use a SQL or a NoSQL? How will you decide if you don't know how these things work? How the performance of SQL is better or no, on what parameters you have to decide. Okay, those things are there. And I would say caching strategies is very, very important. Those things you can read, like you can go to this website, algomaster.io. You can read all these topics. Theoretical, you don't need to do any course for this, but read them article by article. It's a paid website. So if you don't want to pay, you can take the topic, explore on Google, read from there for free. Okay, but system design is very, very important, especially if you want to become an experienced person. If you want to crack top companies, their system design is very, very important. If you just say, okay, I'll create a chatbot and this thing will work, so for example, I'll tell you one more question. What happened in agents? We do this thing. We have an LLM and we do tool calling. Let's say I have T1, T2, T3. Okay, agent keeps on calling tool depending upon the question. One very good question was asked that, what if agent keeps on calling same tool again and again? What if agent falls in a loop of calling a tool again and again? It is not able to fetch the right answer and it keeps on calling a tool and does not return the answer. How will you handle such scenario? Now, none of the course, none of the GitHub will mention you that. So how will you? So you have to read these questions, read the concepts. Once you understand the concept of fallback, you will understand, okay, I can do one thing. I can set a value that maximum 3 API calls are there. After 3 API calls, I will route the LLM to the endpoint, so that in any case, LLM will not call anything more than 3 times. My objective was not to teach you this, just to tell you that these type of questions are also expected from you when you become architects or senior developers. So system design is something very, very important if you have to crack big companies. So I have put every question, and these all questions either I have faced or someone has told me. So I have splitted them into multiple categories: prompt engineering, GenAI, system design, deployment, deep learning, LangChain, frameworks, MCP, A2A, CI/CD, evaluation, indexing, and some miscellaneous questions are also there on multi-model, memory. So there are like more than 250, 300 questions. Even if you prepare 20-30% of this, you should be good to go. Okay, so read them, see if you know the answer or not. Okay, so this file is there free of cost. You can take it. I'll upload it in the description. You can take it from there. Okay, so this is about the roadmap, guys. Again, as I mentioned, sorry, one last thing is pending. Sorry, I forgot to cover, was the coding perspective. Now we discussed about system design, frameworks, DevOps, architecture knowledge. All those things are good. Python DSA coding, by default, it is present everywhere. You cannot skip it. If you're thinking you'll become a good AI developer without a good DSA coding, you're living under the rocks. You cannot crack. You might be very lucky that in some of the interviews people don't ask it, but DSA coding is something. I will share a list of, and there are 75 very important DSA questions. I'll share them. You can prepare from there, or you can, what you can do, you can go to this website, 𝗏𝑐ode. Okay, in 𝗏𝑐ode, what you can do, there's a practice, and see, you can prepare system design questions as well from here. For example, design a rate limiter, those things are there. But DSA problems, you can select blind 75, 150, or whatever you want to select. Okay, in there, you don't need to cover everything, but you need arrays, you need 2 pointers, you need sliding window, you may not need stacks, you need binary search, linked list you can skip, trees little bit you should know, heaps you should know little bit, backtracking little bit, tries little bit, graphs leave it, advanced graph leave it, dynamic programming little bit, greedy algorithm for sure, intervals for sure, and these things you can leave it. So out of these things, how many topics are there? There are roughly around 20 topics, 15 or 14, 15 topics are important. So you can plan out your time. That's let's say, because you know, you will not realize it today. When interview comes, that day you will start panicking that, okay, my interview is there, I know GenAI, everything I know, but what if I fail in my coding test? No one will even test your GenAI knowledge in that scenario. So you need to be good at this. Now, whatever I told you was for an AI developer. If you think you are a good coder, if you can learn all this, right, go take this field. Otherwise, I'll recommend you go towards AI product manager. Reason being, a lot of people are good at understanding systems, but they're not good at coding. For example, if you are not good, why I told you about all this exploring things, because this is what a developer does, right? And if you are not good at this, don't come to this field, because you will, you might come thinking fancy that, okay, I'll become an AI engineer and something, right? Being an AI engineer does not give you anything. It's just a job only, right? And AI product manager is also job. Any data scientist is also job, right? So don't run after fancy things. Understand what all our job expectations are there. Will I become a master person there, or will I be a beginner only? Because over the time you want to lead a team, you want to become managers there. And if you're not good at something, you don't want to, like, you don't want that at age of 35, 40, you're still learning in that team. You want to lead those teams, right? So
but these positions, like product managers, and they all require, like any position requires experience in this field only. That will be an issue for a beginner, right?
they require, again, I'm telling you. So that's what a basic development work, like basic coding. So I recommend everyone that thoda you should do coding, right? So that you understand. For example, very simple. Let's say you're a technical product manager. If you do not know how MCP works, what is your role in the team? You cannot say anything, right? So you enter a team, again, you cannot enter those teams as a beginner. For example, 1-2 years experience, you cannot become a product manager. But people who have 5-6 years of experience, who are transitioning maybe from some field to AI, you do not need to become a developer. If you already have some experience, you can learn AI and you can try for product manager roles there directly. If you are a beginner, I will recommend you should go the developer part. At least be a developer for 1 to 2 years. Because if you become a developer for 1-2 years, if you work as a developer for 1 to 2 years, you'll get to know what all things are there. And then you will become a very good manager. You will understand things. And you don't want to become someone that your juniors tomorrow make fun. Okay, isko to technical pata nahi hai, bas baatein karta rehta hai. Okay, so it will be good that you take some experience. But yeah, if you have some already 5-6 years experience and you are transitioning and you're not good at coding, don't waste your next 1 year in learning coding and all those things. I will recommend try to become architect, try to become product manager there. I mean, take it, it's not that easy as well. Don't think that product manager is easy. There are a lot of things there. So no job role is easy. It's just that the expectations from a product manager is different as compared to developer. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. So this is all about the roadmap. I would say what I had in my mind, I wanted to share. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Okay. Again, timeline can be different for everyone. So don't fall in that. Don't create fancy timelines, please. I'm really against those people who create fancy roadmaps. This no roadmap looks as smooth as, okay, I'll create a 3-month roadmap and follow that and everything will be good. No, nothing works like that. A real learning happens this way only, that you will learn something, you will fail in something, you will get, sometimes you will not be able to study, everything will happen. So don't create strict roadmaps, strict timelines. Take small intervals, that okay, for next 2 weeks I'll study this, for next 2 weeks I'll study this, and have an overall picture in mind that okay, I have to learn AI completely in next 6 months. So something like that you can do. Depending upon your interest, you can go there. Okay, if you have any further question, please feel free to ask. Otherwise you can drop off. Thanks a lot for taking out time. I took, I think, a lot of time of you guys, but yeah. If there is any question still left unanswered, please feel free to ask now. I am done from my end. Okay. Resource link I will share in the YouTube. When I will share the YouTube video, I will share with that. Anyone, any question?
So these things have to learn parallelly. There is no one topic like we can jump from here and there. That parallelly should have to learn all.
Learn AI parallelly, you have to do DSA parallelly, you have to do system design parallelly, machine learning, deep learning concept, you have to do parallelly, right? All those things you have to do.
All of that kind of reverse engineering. If stuck into one topic, then go back to the other and then read from that.
Yes. So this is it.
You said that to develop the thinking and how, like, don't use functions and all, and then how, I mean, like with the practice.
Don't use functions. I said use functions in the first go, but don't entirely depend on them. Understand how function is working in the backend. That's what I said. That if you're using a function, you should know what all parameters that function takes, what all output it gives. If I have to tweak something in future, how can I tweak it? That's all I am saying. I'm not saying don't use functions. I'm just saying,
and then
don't blindly.
Yeah, understood. But then, like, to develop this thinking, you know, to debug and then re-experiment, reiterate, so these will comes up with the, you know, like building more projects or kind of, no?
This will only come with coding, nothing else. There's no shortcut with it. You have to code. You have to code from your end. A lot of people, what they do, they will do code 5 lines, then they will use ChatGPT. You don't. Like, you have to stop doing I'm talking about everyone to stop doing all that. Use. I'm not saying don't use ChatGPT. Use that, but first of all, start building on your own. Right? There are some applications I can build without even looking at code from anywhere. But some applications I need help. So the more you code, more muscle memory you will build. That's what I will recommend. In companies, you will be given tasks like, okay, you have to build and company, like, you have to build 3 APIs and give in 2 hours. Now, if you don't have the muscle memory, you don't even know how API is created, you'll struggle a lot, right? So again, story looks good, everything looks good, but unless you do the dirty work of coding yourself, you will not actually skill. And like, in terms of development, I'm talking about, I'm not talking about product manager. I'm just saying that if you have to become a good developer, you have to spend time in coding, like literally a lot of time. See, I have a course going on, right? That course will finish in August. After that only I will start any course. So I will keep you posted. Till then, whatever roadmap I showed you was for one of my core AI engineering course that is going on. But it will be finished in August. And after that, maybe I'll take a 1-month break. After that, I will launch a course. If you're interested, you can join then. Meanwhile, I will keep on conducting sessions on concepts, projects regularly, which you can take part in. And regarding courses, for example, okay, let's discuss this as well. Which GenAI courses you think are good in the market right now? Let's discuss some time on that as well, if you want to.
I can see right now people are like talking about agents and all mostly.
No, I'm talking about which course, like. So a lot of courses are there online, right? Which course should you do? So for example, what you should do, again, the topics that I've shared, check which course contains max of these topics. Okay, first of all, go with that. For example, I recently compared some of the courses. So let me show you this. I compared the course of Code Basics. I compared the course of this thing.
Krishna.
I compared the course of 𝗕𝗓𝗃 as well, I think, yeah. And I compared another course on Udemy only. Wait a second. So 𝗕𝗓𝗃 has a course on GenAI. I'm just checking it. He recently launched it. Check it.
LangGraph are you referring to?
This one, I think, Agentic AI with LangGraph, right? He launched this course, right?
Yeah. This is the recent one.
I saw this one. His courses are good. I'm not denying that. The only problem which I see in 𝗕𝗓𝗃 course is that sometimes what he simply tells that, okay, use this function, run it, and you are good to go. Okay.
Yeah, he does not tell what does it do.
It does not tell what it does, what it do, right? That is the problem. So what will happen that, okay, you will learn through one way, but there are 100 ways of development. So how I realized this thing, that I started, earlier I used to code in a certain way, certain frameworks only. When I went in my company, they were using semantic kernel, entirely different thing. I didn't know at all. And then I struggled. Okay. Then I realized that in some other team, they were using something else. Then I realized that, okay, in real work, things do not work like this. Okay, 𝗕𝗓𝗃 is a very good teacher. I'm not saying anything against him. I'm just telling that learning a course, a particular framework is good. But if you're just learning those functions, that, okay, there will be a create React agent, there will be a function which I will use and it will give me a result, then that is not the right way. You should know how that particular, for example, let me tell you, we all talk about agent, right? This is 𝗤𝗏𝗃17. So let me show you this thing. 𝗤𝗏𝗃17 React prompt. Okay. How many of you guys know that entire agent system, does not matter LangGraph, 𝗏, whatever, everything runs on this prompt? How many of you know this? The problem is that, for example, when I show you this, right, that create React agent, I was talking about that, right? Let me open this React agent. I was showing that I'm using create React agent here. Agent equal to create React agent. Did you see this prompt anywhere here? No, because it is being used in that function in the backend. So you will never get to know, okay, how the tool calling is actually working in the backend. You will never get to know. Okay, so this is something that comes while with explore. I got to know this when I started exploring, going back, and then I saw. Then I checked in some other framework. There also they were using a similar prompt. Then I realized, okay, everything framework is basically tied upon this prompt only. That's how agent tool calling works. Okay. Similarly, one more thing I'll show you. What happens that when multiple tool calls happen, you have to execute them parallelly. So how does that work, right? If you will come here, so LangGraph provides two methods. Let me show you what it will tell you. It will tell you this code, that do one thing from LangGraph, use this tool node and create tools and pass to that, and it will automatically run this function. A normal person will simply take this code, control copy. Okay, he will just go to his code, control V, and run it, and he will get the result. But what he didn't understand was how this tool node is getting created. Now, if I have to understand this, I'll say uv add lang. Let me show you. Sorry. So when I click on this tool node, you will come here. Okay, this is a tool node, how it is getting created. Then you will see this particular code. Okay, what they do here, let me show you. There it's very clearly mentioned here as well. If you come here, you will see this particular thing that where is it? This is how the tool node is created. This is the which is present in that code as well. That what you do, that you take a list of tools that is called by LLM, and then you make call one by one, and for every tool you run that tool and you return its argument. Okay, in future, if I have to change the output format, or maybe I have to change the invoking call, something I have to change, I can simply come to the class and change it, and that tool node. So if you just learn this code, the problem will be that whenever your code doesn't, it gives you error, you will not be able to debug it. And if you know how things are working in the backend, it will help you. So this is what I feel is missing in the Krishna's course, which you can do. Maybe you will cover in future, but otherwise his courses are very good. Like
did you find these explanations somewhere else if you were exploring?
Sorry?
Like when you were exploring this kind of explanation of what function, which function, what, how does it work, what, so is it in any course?
Yeah, so I found this person. If you see this person, you'll find his course very good. Although he does not go and code and in detail and tell you, but there's a person, 𝗵𝗏. You will see this person. He works at Google. He has a course on LangChain. Right. The way he has explained agents is very good. That how does that tool calling actually work, right? And all those things in the backend. Those are not covered by Krishna or anyone else. That they do not tell. They just tell that, okay, call this function, it will run automatically, it will give you the result. Okay, but to understand how things work, like I like to explore. That's why I like this person's approach of teaching a little bit better than others. And I checked the 𝗐𝗵𝘁 AI syllabus. It is really crappy. They don't even cover agents properly. They don't even cover other things. So I will recommend do Krishna course. It is very good, right? They have a live course as well. And if you want to understand a deep understanding of things, you can do 𝗵𝗏 course as well. Or otherwise, if you learned everything, you can explore on your as well. Or you can do ChatGPT maybe. That's what I will recommend. But there are more tutors. I mean, you can check them. I have mainly explored 5 to 6 courses. I've seen their syllabus. So I found these ones better. This 𝗵𝗏 thing, I really like it. So, okay, anyone, any other question, please let me know. And also guys, you will get a feedback email. Please provide a feedback so that we can improve upon sessions. And those who want to drop off, please drop off. Session is over from my end. And let me know if anyone has any doubt.
Swatik, one question, sorry, from my end. The Excel, whatever, you can hear me, right?
I will share Excel, don't worry.
No, I just didn't complete. You can hear me, right? So the Excel, whatever you prepared, right? I mean, are there any links respect to them where we can refer, or there is any training course which kind of plays as a replacement for them, or to go easy?
See, I'll tell you this. This syllabus, what I showed you here, right? This is something I created for my course. My course is still going on. It is not completed yet. It will complete in August. Now, the problem is that enrollment for that course is closed, but I don't have specific PDF files or resources for these right now, but I can check and send you, right? Because when I was planning the course, I thought, okay, these topics are something I need to cover. So I just created them. Okay. Now,
so you're doing one course, that is what you mean?
Sorry?
You're studying any course covering all these topics?
I'm not getting you. I'm not getting you.
I mean, are you starting some course covering all these topics?
I already have a course going on.
Oh, no. Can you just paste that link in the chat, please?
No, that actually enrollment is closed for that course. So I will launch a new course in August or September. Then you can join that.
But do you have any learning site or something? Can you share?
So I have for these topics.
In general, I'm asking because Chris, say for example, Chris Rank has got one site, right? One place for all.
I have a website, but on my website, I have two websites right now, and I'm building a third one as well. One website is there to practice SQL questions for interviews, and one website it is to uh, uh, do battleground where you can do coding competitions and interview questions with people. But both are in development.
Which one is live?
Both are live. This practice when you can use it perfectly. This is working 100% perfectly. It is totally free. There are 500 SQL questions. You can use them. We have this one coming up, battleground, where you can do live coding test competition with people. Then I also have this particular thing, a project website coming up where you can build projects on my website only. That, for example, you'll get this project, and to do this project there will be different so projects will be split. Now UI will be better. This is just a testing thing, that for example, your project will be split into 5 steps. So first step is to create an add task function. So you will create this add task function. This will not be there. Once you create it, you will run it and it will evaluate it. If you are right, then it will take you to the next step. That's how it will work. So these things that I'm building, it will take me 3 to 4 months to completely build.
Like the SQL one, do you have the same for Python also?
Yeah, so Python questions are not uploaded. Questions will get uploaded in a while. So those questions we are creating them, and they'll be uploaded in a month maximum.
Okay, so practice questions for machine learning, Python, and all. You will also do that in
Right
future.
now, for SQL, 500 questions are there. You can start practicing. Python, we are adding, and other things, interview question, we will add very soon. Okay. So that is it. Let me know, guys, if you guys have any other question. So if you guys don't have any question, we can drop off.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks again, guys, for taking out such a long time. Enjoy your weekend. And see,
Hello?
my course is enrollment is closed. So I will launch it in August. Then I will tell the price. Okay.
Hello? Yeah, in that Excel, na, if possible, can you please maybe also attach a link or a resource or a website from where we can,
That I will
otherwise
see.
we'll Google.
I will have to see because I don't have write them for one by one. Okay. That I can share separately. Okay.
Okay, sure.
And the course you're referring to now is that a live sessions or it is a recorded ones?
The one I am teaching is a live session. So basically, let me show you. So I have a Python and GenAI course going on right now. Okay. So for example, this is live course. So every class is of 2 hours. So far, 19 classes have been done. We have just started AI agents there, and we have this Python bootcamp also going on, where we have done 17 classes. So every Saturday and Sunday to 2 hours. So 4 hours every weekend we have these sessions. So yeah. So a Python class is 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. GenAI classes is mainly basically it is on US timing because people are US candidates are there. So that is little bit in the night time of India. So it's like 1 p.m. of US time, something like that. But I will launch for Indian in August, maybe for a new batch. So then if you are interested, you can join them. But my objective is not to sell my course. I just wanted to tell you that this roadmap you should follow. Whichever course you want to take, it's totally your cost, or you want to study self-study as well, it's totally your thing. But the roadmap should be fixed in your mind that what all you have to study. Okay. That's what I wanted to teach you through this. Okay, anyone, any question? And I have a lot of things available on YouTube Live as well. A lot of free sessions on AI agents, RAG. If you're interested, you can watch from there as well. So next Sunday, same time, 11 a.m., we are having a session on MCP. So if you are interested, you can join that as well. Okay. Okay, guys. So no one has any questions. So please, I'm closing session now. Enjoy your weekend, right? Whatever is remaining, and let's meet.
Okay, thanks, Arthur.
Sorry?
I'm saying thanks for the session. Let's meet
Problem.
again.
You'll get an email to provide feedback on 𝗏𝗏. Please provide that. That will help us. Okay, whatever true feedback. I mean, if something was missing, you can let us know that as well. And let us know if you want any particular session. We can organize that. That is, I'm trying to keep one free session every week. Although I already do 8 hours of teaching in my regular courses. Apart from that, also I'm trying that every week I conduct one free session so that people can get to know something from there as well. But yeah, let me know if you want any specific topic. You can let me know on groups. Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good day ahead and see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.